In the world of MMOs, many secrets lie dormant for years until players pick up on it through social media, word of mouth, and after spending lots of time in the game, of course. One thing I've been interested in recently was icebergs. I took a deep dive into researching what I could find for Wizard101, and it was pretty fun. I think I might go over other gaming icebergs. Anyways, today I thought I'd go over some of the things I missed for the first Wizard101 iceberg, since these ones are technically a little bit more on the psychological dark side than anything. Avert your eyes, children. This isn't for the faint of heart. Censored spells. Now, I'm technically Chinese, but I can tell you right now, I don't know what this shit says. Kinda like the word Bing Chilling. What the fuck is it? I don't know, I can't tell you. So these cards are pretty interesting. One looks like a wooden puppet. Here we got, I think, a brown cow, and what I assume to be an edgelord of some kind. They are essentially, and to a degree, cheap imitation knockoffs of spells in Wizard101, known as the Skeletal Pirate, Bone Dragon, and Lord Nightshade. It's kinda fitting since it's, well, made in China. So my guess as to why they're censored is because in Chinese culture, death is taboo, like the number 4. I tried looking on YouTube like an idiot expecting to see these spells, but nothing came out of it. That's when I decided to see if there were any videos on Chinese video sites like Boo Boo BB. What the fuck was it called? Billy? This site was news to me, but I couldn't find anything except Wizard101 K-pop. So after this, I did a little bit of digging, and I found that these cards are actually from an old Chinese beta server of the game. That server doesn't exist anymore since the Chinese Wizard101 server shut down quite a while ago. So any attempt of trying to find any backup data of it would be nearly impossible. Unless somehow a data miner archived it back in 2012 when it was launched. Almost as impossible as finding Critical's old deleted Call of Duty montage videos. Kano Evo Snowman. Now this one I thought wasn't true because it sounds like some sort of Mortal Kombat fatality, so try to wrap your head around this. There's a spell in the game called Evo Snowman, and what it does is it comes up to you Freddy Krueger style and slashes you with a knife. Don't worry, it's pretty PG, you won't get any blood, just magical dust particles. However, originally, this was a lot more gory.
So happy to see, but we need an angry one. So make an angry one.
Of course.
And, yeah.
The first iteration of the snowman was a little more gory.
Hey, that's what I said.
We pulled that back a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
Now I want to see that. That's the one I want. Can we get that trainable? Let's add that.
Can you say what we used to do?
I mean, it did kind of. I mean, it wasn't really gory, but it did kind of like take part of its body and.
Now I really want to see it.
He stabbed his snow heart out and threw it.
Yeah.
So it tears its own heart out and throws it at the target like a forlorn lover. I know, it sounds pretty metal. A snowman commits harakiri. I can understand this wouldn't have gone well with children in the ESRB rating, so we'll have to settle with the old regular Freddy Krueger snowman. Short Bone Dragon. This one is probably one of the rarest mounts in the game, and it's a bit more well known among the old Wizard101 players, whereas newer players probably never heard of it. So I'll go over briefly why it's so rare and why it's on this list. In the early days of Wizard101, microtransactions weren't as vicious and controlling as they are now. It all came to an end when the first loot box dropped called the Dragon's Horde Pack. Inside the pack, it contained a small chance of getting a short, stunted bone dragon with small wings. It was later removed about a day later for seemingly no reason that I could think of, and was replaced with a much bigger bone dragon, both in size and wingspan. Wizard Blocks. I can't really come up with the right description for this, so I'll let KingsOwl themselves describe it. From the makers of Wizard101 for the PC comes Wizard Blocks, a puzzle mini-game from the hit video game Wizard101. You also have the Wizard101 mascot Merle Ambrose with his iPhone in hand ready to use the app. So my understanding is it's basically Bejeweled for your phone. This was originally the first mobile game KingsOwl ever made. The game would later go on to be abandoned, mostly because nobody that I knew of played it, and the rewards you got from it was pretty garbage. It's been long forgotten by the player base and even KingsIsle for 12 years, much like their future investments in the mobile department space. It served as a dark omen for KingsIsle dipping their toes into something they knew nothing about. And it's very evident by their many failed mobile games. Darkmoor Manor Noose. This one I absolutely had no idea existed. There's a house in Wizard101 called the Darkmoor Manor, named after one of the areas in the game. It's supposed to look doom and gloomy. Now what's interesting is that when the house was first released, it came with a noose hanging on a tree. A little while later, this was removed because it made some players uncomfortable and thought it was a bit too much. No, loot box gambling though, that stays. Anyways, it seems like KingsIsle does take into consideration of children when it concerns morbid stuff. To see for myself if this was real, I went over to the same exact spot of where the noose was in the game and, well, it isn't there anymore. Case closed. Now I will say most players like myself, we don't really care because we're already depressed over college tuition, microtransactions, and life in general. So removing this makes literally no difference to us. Mysterious Whispers. Inside one of Wizard101's player houses called the Grand Fortress, some players reported they were hearing sounds of ghosts or mysterious whispers. Personally, I don't know what ghosts sound like. I've never heard one of them shout or scream before, so if you know, please tell me, what do they sound like? Now this one, I've had personal experience with it because I spent a lot of time researching it where I myself was the test subject to this weird paranormal experiment. I subjected myself to this torture for about an hour and my results were very much conclusive to the majority of non-ghost believers. It doesn't fucking exist, like the Luna coin in your crypto wallet. In short, I made a video about this a little while ago, and yeah, nothing became of those sounds. So either KingsIsle removed them for whatever reason and I just wasted my time, or Casper is on vacation. Hellhound Mandela Effect. Someone commented on the last video saying that originally the spell called Hellhound was changed to Heckhound. I don't really remember this change, though I did a little bit of digging. And apparently, some people are split between Hellhound and Heckhound, kinda like the Berenstein and Berenstain Bears. Personally, I'd call them Care Bears because who cares? Aside from the Heckhound and Hellhound controversy, what's funny is that there's another spell called Helephant in the game, which is an elephant that's on fire. Now, using the high school survival guide called Google, the word Healy means to hide or conceal. That's great, but what is a Helephant? And why is it not hiding? Now, my guess is that it's a play on words like Hierophant, which means a priest who interprets mysteries. It's a real mystery on why it's named Helephant to me. So I wonder if the Hierophant can solve this, if they exist. Personally, I've been having so much fun researching these things and dipping my little frog web tootsies into these subjects, and was wondering, if you found anything in the game that you thought was weird or mysterious, comment down below, I'd love to hear about it. It doesn't have to be Wizard101, it could be any game. By the way, I recently started a Discord server and we're already approaching 50 plus people, so if you're interested in chilling out and chatting, then come join us. And if you're interested, we also have our very own Minecraft server. It's there to make sure that we aren't just robots just saying hi to one another all the time. Other than that, if you're new, subscribing is just a click away, and as always, I hope you take care, and I'll see you guys.